night, if I get back in time.
Hello YouTube, it's Kingpin of Cinema.
And the QB999.
And we're here to review the latest DC animated film, Superman All-Star.
Now, I'm not going to make it a secret. I hate Superman as a character. I just hate him. I just flat out hate him. He's bland and boring.
Oh, wah, wah, wah.
He's nearly invincible, so what can really pose a challenge to him? It's like playing Mass Effect and only ever being given the Paragon choice.
Well, see, you know, the whole thing about Superman being so powerful, the writer to the comic had that question posed to him as well, so he decided to make this whole story an emotional story to, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, Superman can, like, juggle worlds in his hands, but, you know, one bad thing from Lois Lane can just utterly devastate him. So that's kind of like one of the things about Superman All-Star. There's actually a lot of things about Superman All-Star.
Even with all my hate, I still kind of enjoyed watching this movie. Because for me, though, it really delved into Lex Luthor and his narcissism and his
God complex.
And his God complex, yeah. And superiority complex and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
You really saw why he hated Superman.
So, I haven't read all the comics of Superman All-Star. I've read the first 6, and I'd say the first half of the movie follows those first 6 comics very well. Yeah, the Jimmy Olsen one is completely skipped over, and then there's probably other ones that are completely skipped over.
Yeah, it seemed like Jimmy was just kind of thrown in randomly at random points, just so we could say, hey, there's Jimmy.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jimmy Olsen had a bigger part in the actual Superman All-Star comics, at least for like one issue. But, you know, as the movie goes, I liked it. I think it works better as a comic book, because I love the comic book. In fact, most people do, and that's why they made it.
Now,
but it still works. I still liked it.
This movie, one thing about it really I liked and I hated. It was the fact that there were so many problems going on, like all the bad guys that would just kind of show up at these times.
That's how it worked in the comic book, because every issue was kind of meant to be a self-contained story, but was a part of a bigger whole. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, in one issue you would have Leech, in another issue you would have the Kryptonian cosmonauts, and
that guy Samson?
Samson and Atlas.
For a comic book that would really work. I don't really think it made the movie flow very well, though.
I think it flowed well up until the Kryptonian cosmonaut guys came.
They just kind of came and went. It's like, they come to Earth, oh, we're sick, we're dying.
Then they're gone.
What is it, War of the Worlds? I kind of also would have liked to see Superman, you know, go through the 7 stages of death. You know, the anger, the acceptance, and everything. There's a part where, you know, you see the world of Krypton in the little glass jar. I would have wanted to see him taking it to the planet for them to flourish. Going through the anger stage and just going, why do I have to die? Why do I have to die? And just start shaking the glass.
Those poor, poor tiny people. He kind of comes to accept his inevitable death
instantaneously.
Pretty quickly.
So just give it to me straight. You're dying. Oh, okay. There's a lot I need to do.
You know, there's the action in it is good. The story's really good. I mean, I haven't met anyone that's hated Superman All-Star the comic. I mean, it's considered the definitive Superman All-Star comic. One thing I do love about the comic and the movie, it has all the like kind of golden age and silver age nonsense. But I like that kind of I like that kind of stuff, like the time telescope, where it's just all of Superman's lair, where Fortress of Solitude just has all this ridiculous stuff in it, but it's cool because, you know, it's classic Superman.
Sculpture of his parents, you know, a gigantic boat that he's been.
It's the Titanic.
The Titanic, really?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that kind? people wouldn't like him for that, because people have, like, agreed to leave the Titanic alone where it is.
Yeah.
And he just goes and picks it up. I need something to do.
Yeah, you need
Let's remake this bitch.
Well, who's going to say no to Superman?
Luthor.
Oh, that's true.
The climax of the movie is where Luthor, he gets basically the super serum that Superman develops.
For Lois Lane.
So he can gain Superman's powers for 24 hours. And in doing so, he kind of defeats himself.
Yeah. He can now see the world where the whole universe as Superman sees it.
Just kind of like at the molecular level.
Yeah.
And by that, he just starts putting everything together. We all are one. What am I doing? And then, by some miracle of coincidence, Superman happens to use this gravity gun on him that displaces the time, so that the 24 hours are reduced to just a few hours to that specific moment when he realizes all that. I don't know, I just didn't like the way that kind of ended. I wanted a bigger climax.
Well, it's because Superman had had predicted what was going to happen and used that against Luthor to defeat him.
And that kind of irked me a little bit too. For me, Superman isn't supposed to be like super genius smart, like it seems. But again, I never really liked him, so I never read the comic books, so I don't really know him a whole lot. So I might be wrong.
I think it fits in fine. You know, you still got the Solaris battle, which I kind of liked. Oh, if you don't know who Solaris is, he's the Sun Tyrant. He eats suns and then puts himself as the new sun so people can worship him. And to me, that's kind of a nice villain motivation.
Yeah. So how does Superman counter that? A Sun Eater, which then gets instantly blown up.
And then he gets really pissed and kills him.
Which that kind of seemed out of character for him, but then...
But like you said, it's a robot.
Yeah,
so.
It's a robot, so I guess it doesn't really count.
I guess killing a sentient robot doesn't really count.
So overall, the movie, it was good. You know, I enjoyed it. I sat and enjoyed it. It's kind of longer than some of the others we've seen.
And I think it's because of that. The one disappointment I had with the package is that it didn't come with a DC showcase.
A little short, kind of like the Jonah Hex one, the Green Arrow one.
Yeah, and Shazam.
Because we always like those better than the actual movies themselves, usually.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get that here. I think that needs to be something they have to do for all their movies, is have the little animated short, because it helps, feel better about the purchase. I still got this for $17, but, the more that's on it, the more I like. And
it just showcases other characters that you might be interested in. Other characters you may not know. Like, I never knew who the Spectre was before that little short.
Yeah, and that was pretty freaking badass. You also got Superman Now documentary, or short, with Grant Morrison talking about his inspiration for writing the story. And then you have commentary with Grant Morrison and... what's his name? Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm, who produced basically almost all of the DC cartoons from the early 90s with Batman, the animated series, all the way up to like Justice League and doing these films. So that guy knows DC.
Well, so overall, not a complete package without the short. But still a good buy, especially for $17 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, $17 on Blu-ray with the DVD and digital copy. I'd say it's a nice purchase, and I say check it out. If you don't know anything about Superman All-Star, check it out or rent it at the least. To me, this is a buy. I'd say totally get this.
The only thing missing from this, even though it's Marvel, was a little Taskmaster. That's all it needed.
Marvel? This is DC. Taskmaster's Marvel.
I know, that's what I said.
Oh, God.
Even though he's Marvel, he should have been in it. Anyway, so that's our review of Superman All-Star. As usual, if you didn't like it...
Okay.